After the end of Jujutsu Kaisen, the main question to answer is, who are the strongest sorcerers at the top? The final saga rewrote the power ranking, introducing new names and redefining the strength of those we already knew, from modern sorcerers to those from past eras. Each one brings unique abilities with incredible potential. In this video, you'll find out my personal ranking of the top 10 most powerful sorcerers in Jujutsu Kaisen. If today's video topic piques your interest, you know what to do. Hit that like button and double check your subscription below to help expand this channel's reach. All set? Alright, let's get started. In 10th place, we have the ancient sorcerer and thunder god Hajime Kashimo. Kashimo's first major battle took place during the culling game against the immortal sorcerer Hakari Kinji. Hakari emerged victorious by combining strength and strategy, leaving Kashimo with no cursed energy left. An important detail is that Kashimo didn't use his curse technique at any point during the fight. He explained that his curse technique is a one-time use, reserved solely for the king of curses, Ryomen Sukuna. With his technique Mythical Beast Amber, Kashimo can reshape his body to create electrical phenomena through his curse energy. Kashimo's body transcends the human realm when using this technique, but it can only be activated once before his body collapses completely. However, after he used his curse technique against Sukuna, it was clear that he stood no chance against the king of curses, managing only a few minor hits with all his speed before dying quickly. Therefore, Hajime Kashimo takes 10th place on our list. Moving on to 9th place, we have the immortal sorcerer Hakari Kinji. Hakari is a third-year sorcerer from the Tokyo Jujutsu School, known for being a rebellious and unruly student. It took years for us to see his true form and learn about his powers, but when that moment came, it was worth the wait. Hakari possesses the curse technique Private Pure Love Train, activated primarily through his domain expansion, Idle Death Gamble. Anyone familiar with his character knows just how needlessly complex this technique is, so I won't bother explaining it because even I'm not sure I fully understand it. In short, when he hits a jackpot, Hakari gains unlimited cursed energy for 4 minutes and 11 seconds. Additionally, this unlimited energy allows his body to heal any injuries automatically, making him practically immortal during this period. His main goal is to align 3 matching numbers to hit the jackpot, with just a 1 in 239 chance of doing so, but he's incredibly lucky and always seems to hit it. With this ability, Hakari was able to fight and defeat Hajime Kashimo. Even though Kashimo didn't use his curse technique during the battle, I doubt that would have been enough to beat the tireless gambler. Hakari could keep standing after any damage, while Kashimo would see his body completely disintegrated by his own power. However, since we didn't get a chance to see Hakari in action during the final battle, nor the results of his training, he ranks 9th. In 8th place, we have the one who should be the story's protagonist, Yuji Itadori. Itadori went through unique growth to prepare for the final battle, and the results of his training were impressive. He added 2 curse techniques to his arsenal: Shrine Technique, inherited after Sukuna's possession, which grants him cutting abilities, and Blood Manipulation, gained after consuming the cursed death paintings 4 through 9. While he hasn't fully mastered these techniques, he made good use of them by leveraging their basic abilities. Moreover, Itadori developed a simple domain, allowing him to protect himself from domain expansions like Malevolent Shrine, albeit temporarily. He also demonstrated healing abilities through Reverse Curse Technique and was able to use Black Flash, landing significant damage on Sukuna with a sequence of 9 flashes throughout the battle. Yet, perhaps his most remarkable ability is his improvised domain expansion, which, although unnamed and unexplained, still deserves recognition. Considering all this, I think he'd make an interesting match against Hakari Kinji. Personally, I'd love to see this fight to know the outcome. If I had to guess, I still don't see Itadori being able to defeat Hakari with his immortality and infinite energy activated. But, on the other hand, I don't see Hakari beating Itadori that easily either. It's worth noting that Hakari spent the entire final battle fighting Urahume. Although the reason for this is debatable, probably because the author didn't know what else to do with Hakari and needed to keep him occupied, the fact is that Hakari couldn't finish off Urahume, who was nearly defeated by a single punch from Satoru Gojo. So, although I think the result of a fight between Itadori and Hakari is debatable at this point, the fact is that Itadori's growth and prominence have surpassed Hakari's, and that's why he takes 8th place. Continuing our list, in 7th place, we have the ancient sorcerer Yorozu. Yorozu, a Heian-era sorcerer, had one major goal: to fight Sukuna in battle. After possessing Megumi's sister's body, she finally got her chance to face the king. Yorozu wields a technique called construction. Yes, the exact same technique as Mai Zenin, but on a considerably higher level. With this ability, Yorozu could create literally anything, though at a high cost to her cursed energy. Her solution was to optimize her technique as much as possible to avoid excessive energy consumption. As such, Yorozu focused on, for example, constructing insect parts around her body, since insects have physical proportions superior to most other creatures, or creating liquid metal, which offered immense versatility due to its modulation capability. However, what truly makes Yorozu a threat to any sorcerer is her true sphere technique. Under normal circumstances, creating a perfect sphere is considered impossible, but Yorozu managed to achieve it by shaping herself into liquid metal. A true sphere has no contact surface, thus generating infinite pressure, a physics concept that a teacher or student might explain better in the comments. Practically speaking, when activated, the sphere moves toward its target at a moderate speed with guaranteed accuracy through domain suspension. Unfortunately, we don't see this technique's full effect because Sukuna countered it by summoning Mahoraga, which adapted and destroyed the true sphere like it was nothing. But theoretically, if it were to hit sorcerers like Itadori or Hakari, they would be completely vaporized and erased from existence, with no chance of recovery. So, the woman who just wanted to talk about love with Sukuna definitely deserves 7th place. Moving on to 6th place, we have the woman rejected by cursed energy, Maki Zenin. Maki was born with such a tiny amount of cursed energy that it was even lower than that of a regular human. But everything changed when her sister, Mai, sacrificed herself so Maki's heavenly restriction could reach its peak. Now, through heavenly restriction and with zero cursed energy, Maki's physical attributes were catapulted to an incredibly high level. Strength, speed, endurance, and even a sharper perception of her surroundings. Somewhat like the Sixth Eyes, though to a lesser extent. Moreover, with this enhanced physique, Maki was able to withstand 2 black flashes from Sukuna during the final battle. Maki is also immune to the effects of most domain expansions. To explain, we know that barrier techniques work by recognizing and confining cursed energy within or outside their boundaries, but they don't stop physical objects from passing through those boundaries. That's why we see barriers passing through buildings or other physical objects, ignoring their existence. What is physical becomes invisible. This is where Maki benefits from having zero cursed energy. As a result, Maki can enter and exit any barrier, including domain expansion. What's even more impressive is that she can't be affected by guaranteed hits. Maki is completely undetectable, lacking any cursed energy, making most domains ineffective against her. For instance, Yorozu's true sphere wouldn't be able to pursue Maki, as she wouldn't leave any cursed energy trail to track in the first place. This is incredibly overpowered. Heavenly restriction is truly unique, and that's not all. After her sister's sacrifice, Maki received a replica of the Split Soul Katana. This sword ignores any physical resistance and strikes directly at the opponent's soul. It was with this sword that Maki eradicated the Zenin clan and managed to pierce Sukuna's heart, striking directly at his soul. Considering all this, although I think Maki deserved more spotlight throughout the final arc, I believe she earns a worthy 6th place. Continuing our list, we have the special grade sorcerer, Yuki Tsukumo. Yuki is one of the only 4 special grade sorcerers, alongside Satoru Gojo, Suguru Geto, and Yuta Okkotsu, which already speaks to her strength. Special grade sorcerers are considered true anomalies in the Jujutsu world, possessing such immense power that their destructive potential is immeasurable. In fact, the true meaning of being a special grade sorcerer is revealed by Kenjaku, someone capable of subjugating an entire country alone. Yuki's curse technique was revealed during her battle against Kenjaku and is called Star Raid. This ability allows Yuki to grant virtual mass to herself and her Shikigami Garuda. The added mass in Yuki and Garuda's attacks gives them devastating destructive power, effortlessly exercising even special grade curses. With her increased body mass and extraordinary resilience, Yuki becomes an unstoppable force, much like Maki herself, as she charges at Kenjaku, regardless of the damage she takes in battle, like when her arm was completely twisted, yet she kept fighting. Additionally, Yuki can use reverse curse energy to heal her injury, such as the arm destroyed by Kenjaku, and is capable of using simple domain to temporarily shield herself from Kenjaku's domain expansion. Yuki also possesses a domain expansion that she could have used in a domain battle against Kenjaku, had she not relied on Tengen's plan and chosen not to use it. Unfortunately, we'll never see her domain, as Tengen's miscalculation ultimately led to Yuki Tsukumo's death. But that's not all. Yuki's most destructive power, and one that will be hard for any other sorcerer to surpass, is her ability to transform into a literal black hole, with the potential to destroy the entire planet. This was Yuki's last sacrifice to defeat Kenjaku, if it weren't for the anti-gravity curse technique he acquired by possessing Itadori's mother. Quite the coincidence, right? In the end, although Yuki's sacrifice was in vain, the justification for it was convenient enough to overlook the absurd potential she demonstrated. She didn't act like a suicidal sorcerer like Megumi, who would call on his Exodia at any given opportunity. Yuki is a well-rounded sorcerer, worthy of the special grade title, and above all, she possessed the most powerful ability in history, capable of swallowing any sorcerer below her on this list, including even Maki Zenin. That's why she deserves 5th place. Now, in 4th place on our official list, we have the ancient sorcerer and mastermind behind the major events in Jujutsu, Kenjaku. By possessing Suguru Geto's body, Kenjaku gained a total of 2 curse techniques. The first is Geto's own curse manipulation, which already made him a special grade sorcerer, capable of toppling an entire country with his army of curses. The second is Itadori's mother's curse technique, called anti-gravity system. Kenjaku is better known for using Geto's technique. After all, the anti-gravity technique was just a convenient plot device to save him from being obliterated along with the entire planet by Yuki Tsukumo. Yes, I still haven't gotten over it. Even so, I have to acknowledge Kenjaku's merit in being able to react to Yuta Okkotsu's assault after Takaba created a distraction. This detail was only revealed in the final chapters of the manga, but Kenjaku tried to use the anti-gravity technique to immobilize Yuta, and he might have succeeded if Aoi Todo hadn't intervened, teleporting Yuta out of the technique's reach, allowing Yuta to land the finishing blow. It was indeed a perfect combination and plan, but who knows what would have happened if Yuta hadn't had help from Todo and Takaba. Would he still have had a chance against Kenjaku? Maybe, since he obliterated Suguru Geto using Rika's full power, though it wouldn't have been so easy now that Kenjaku has Geto's body and the anti-gravity technique at his disposal. Going back to his fight against Yuki, despite the outcome, there's no denying Kenjaku proved to be another unstoppable force, using and abusing every tool at his disposal, showcasing his regeneration through reverse cursed energy and his domain expansion, womb profusion. This shows why he's someone who's survived for 1,000 years. For that reason, this scoundrel takes 4th place. Taking the bronze medal on our podium, we have the once unbeaten prodigy, Yuta Okkotsu. Yuta is considered the second most powerful sorcerer of the current era, second only to Satoru Gojo, and that's not without reason. Yuta and Gojo share a common bloodline, which, though distant, explains the massive amount of cursed energy Yuta possesses. In fact, Yuta's energy reserves are even greater than Satoru Gojo, though Gojo compensates by conserving his own energy using the 6th eye. Yuta's curse technique is Copy, which he stores within the current Rika. When Rika is fully summoned, Yuta can use previously copied techniques one after another, and even in combined form. He has a 5-minute limit for this, but that limit disappears when Yuta activates his domain suspension, Authentic Mutual Love. In his domain, Yuta is surrounded by numerous katanas, which he can wield to activate any curse techniques he's previously copied without any restriction. It was in his domain that Yuta showcased his full potential when facing Sukuna. Even though the battle resulted in Yuta being cut in half by Sukuna, it's worth noting that he ended his domain on purpose, as a signal for Maki to enter the scene. In other words, even in those conditions, Yuta could have kept his domain active, with plenty of cursed energy to spare. As for his victory over Kenjaku, even though Yuta received help from Aoi Todo and Takaba to land the final blow, it's worth recalling how he managed to obliterate Suguru Geto and his ultimate technique, Uzumaki, in Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Of course, Yuta no longer has the original Rika as he once did, and Kenjaku also possesses a second anti-gravity curse technique. So I'd say a match between the two without interference would be interesting to see. We should remember how Kenjaku himself claimed he didn't see in Yuta all that was said about him, even though he had Geto's memories and knew what Yuta was capable of doing to the body's original owner. As we know, Kenjaku is extremely cautious and wouldn't make such a statement lightly or just to belittle his opponent. He knows very well when he should or shouldn't face someone in a direct confrontation, and if someone as experienced as Kenjaku said that, I'm inclined to give him the benefit of the doubt. However, a counterpoint worth noting is that Kenjaku never witnessed Yuta's domain expansion potential, which, as we've seen, grants him the ability to use any technique he's copied previously without time or energy limitation. And perhaps this could be the key factor that could allow Yuta to turn the table. In the end, I wouldn't bet everything on a guaranteed victory for Yuta, and I still think Kenjaku would have a chance. But given Yuta's absurd arsenal of techniques, especially in domain suspension, I lean a bit toward the prodigy, which is why he takes 3rd place. Now, claiming the silver medal in 2nd place, we have Sukuna! Just kidding. In 2nd place, we have the strongest of the modern era, Satoru Gojo. This result was expected, but let's break it down carefully. Combining his limitless technique and the 6 eyes, Gojo was able to reduce about half of Sukuna's cursed energy, becoming the most crucial sorcerer in the final arc. In direct combat, no other sorcerer besides Sukuna showed superior skill, highlighting a certain gap between Gojo and the other sorcerers below him on this list. As for Geto's question of whether Gojo was the strongest because he was Satoru Gojo or Satoru Gojo because he was the strongest, we got our answer when Yuta Okkotsu possessed his body. Even though he didn't have time to get used to his teacher's body and techniques, the fact that Yuta couldn't fully control that body made it clear that Gojo earned the merit of mastering his techniques, proving that he was the strongest because he was Satoru Gojo. Another interesting detail is a remark from Sukuna himself after his victory. When fighting Yuta in their first clash, Sukuna claimed his energy levels were about the same as Yuta's. Adding to this, moments earlier, Yuta estimated that Sukuna seemed to have energy reserves over over twice his own. So, roughly speaking, this means Gojo managed to reduce about half of Sukuna's energy on his own. Many wonder what would have happened if Satoru Gojo had faced Sukuna without the 10 Shadows technique. Here, I'd like to highlight two key moments. In chapter 229, Sukuna is finally caught in the unlimited void, left completely stunned and unable to react. At that moment, Gojo advances to finish him off, but Sukuna summons Mahoraga, which breaks the unlimited void, saving him. Then, in chapter 232, Gojo lands a black flash that nearly knocks Sukuna unconscious, but once again, Mahoraga is summoned, adapting to Gojo's infinity, and allowing Sukuna to hide in the shadows of the technique to recover. These two examples clearly show that Gojo had two great opportunities to finish or at least severely injure Sukuna if not for Mahoraga's interference. Without Mahoraga, Sukuna wouldn't have escaped the unlimited void and would have been crushed by infinity. And even if he survived chapters later, he wouldn't have been able to escape the black flash that nearly left him unconscious. But since Satoru Gojo himself admitted he wasn't sure he'd win against Sukuna without the 10 Shadows technique, who am I to disagree? For all these reasons, Gojo takes second place. And finally, taking the gold medal, we have, in first place, the King of Curses, Ryomen Sukuna. This result was obvious, but let's break down the reasoning carefully. Sukuna has been hailed as the strongest sorcerer in history, having wiped out the alliance of sorcerers that united against him during the Heian era, and now he's given quite a challenge to the new generation of sorcerers in this era. One thing we need to acknowledge about Sukuna is how adaptable he is in battle. Even when facing situations that could have led to his defeat or even death, he used his vast experience, adapting to almost any situation he encountered. Another aspect worth highlighting is Sukuna's absurd amount of cursed energy. While observing the battle of the strongest, Yuta mentioned that Sukuna's energy seemed to be more than double his own, meaning it exceeded even Satoru Gojo's. Gojo compensated for having less energy with the 6 eyes, which prevented him from running out, but the point is that Sukuna's reserves were far greater. He was a sorcerer with so much cursed energy that he could even afford to lower himself to match other sorcerers' level, if only for his own amusement. So those are my thoughts after the end of the manga. I tried to be as fair as possible. Of course, I'm not the absolute authority, but I think I was pretty fair with this list. If you enjoyed the video and haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to leave a like and share your own rankings in the comments. Remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because we've got even more Jujutsu content coming your way. Alright, see you next time. Bye.